Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to Story Hour. I'm your host, Daniel Marcus. My absolutely fabulous co-host is Laura Blackwell, and it's Wednesday evening where we are, and we're back again bringing you what we like to believe is the best in spoken word speculative fiction. So we feature work from pretty much the entire range of speculative fiction today. We've got horror, fantasy, hard science fiction, space opera, slipstream, cyberpunk, weird, dark, weird, and more. We also welcome new writers who have just sold their first few pieces, award-winning seasoned pros, and everybody in between. So welcome back, folks, and to new folks, welcome. Glad you're here. I started Story Hour 5.5 years ago, roughly, in the early days of the pandemic, and things were very weird. We were living through the science fictional apocalypse that we had been reading about and writing about for years and years and years. And I wanted to create a place where my friends and I could get together and share our work, enjoy a little community, kind of hunker down as the soft apocalypse just rolled over our heads. Um, Very shortly after I kicked it off, I asked my friend Laura Blackwell to join me in co-hosting, and we've been at it ever since. And so 5 years later, things out there are still really weird and trending weirder, but we're still here. And I feel like we need community more than ever. We need stories more than ever. We need each other more than ever. So here we are. Story Hour relies on a truly ancient tradition, which is folks sitting around the fire telling lies to each other. So every week we continue this practice. We've got two writers, about 30 minutes each, narrating their own work. It's that simple. We want to thank SIFWA for their very generous grant, which helps us to keep the lights on and keep these virtual rooms open. Thank you, SIFWA. And with that, I'd like to welcome our authors for this evening, Kristina Ten and David Marino. And we're going to start the program tonight with Kristina. Kristina Ten's stories have appeared in the best American science fiction and fantasy. We're here, the best queer speculative fiction, the best weird fiction of the year, McSweeney's, Nightmare, Uncanny, and elsewhere. Along with the Stephen Dixon Award for Short Fiction, the Subjective Chaos Kind of Award, which I'd never heard of. That sounds awesome. And the Friction Writing Contest. She's been a finalist for the Shirley Jackson Award, the Locus Award, and the WSFA Small Press Award. She is a graduate of Clarion West Writers Workshop. Yay, Clarion West! And the University of Colorado Boulder MFA program in creative writing. Her debut short story collection, Tell Me Yours, I'll Tell You Mine, is forthcoming October 7th of this year from Stillhouse Press. Kristina, welcome. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you both for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm going to read a story that came out in Diabolical Plots a few years ago. I want to issue a warning for folks with kids in the room, maybe that there will be a few instances of strong language, and also the story does deal with loss of a loved one, though at a remove. So just be gentle with yourself if you need to be. This is called We Will Weather One Another Somehow. When Benj comes home, I swear his hands are smaller than before and thinned out in the spaces between the knuckles, the points of contact if someone were to lace their fingers with his. It's a millimeter's difference, maybe less, maybe half. But then I've gotten used to these reduced units of measurement. When I find the dust in the cuffs of his jacket, I'm sure. Benj is 34 years old, has been in my life for 2. He is reliable and even-tempered, a good listener, easy to love. Lots of people call him their rock. I called him that too, before I knew. He says he can't pinpoint when it started, his erosion. Of course, I know, watched the videos in grade school earth science, same as everyone, that it's one of those things that happens gradually over a long period of time. Nothing out of the ordinary. Nothing. Then one day, in the foreign angle of a changing room mirror, a deep gully down the center of his back from where the shower water hit for 10 straight minutes every day since he was a boy. I let my fingers hover over the gully, a flock of birds caught in the wind, but I don't touch down. He is limestone, vulnerable, soft, sedimentary. I dare not contribute. Meanwhile, Benj takes his eroding as a fact of life. Hereditary, his dad. When he shows me old family photos, I recognize it immediately. Limbs narrow around the bone from continuous exposure. The fuck is this? Is how I found out, turning to look over my shoulder at his bathroom mirror, wiping long streaks of gray-pink dust from the back of my dress. A little drunk, both of us. Hiccups, laughter. We had been out dancing, still new then, and I had been showing off. He told me, answered my questions, met my incredulity with patience. Gradually, yes, like buttes and canyons and river valleys, but much faster than those. Proportional to his size. Wait, parabolically proportional. No, it doesn't hurt. Later, lying there next to him, I didn't know what to believe, finding all parts of him just as they should be, warm and present and braced so sturdily, I thought, by blood like mine. I remember hooking my hand onto the ledge of his collarbone, my legs draped over his so irresponsibly. I asked about his dimples. "Au naturel," he replied. The words naturally occurring mean something different to Benj. So do the words worn out. One thing that wears Benj out the way most people mean: phone calls from his mother, who's back in Kansas, tornado-proofing her now too big house and putting fresh flowers on Benj's dad's grave. She sprung for a granite headstone, erosion-resistant, made to last. I hear one end of their conversations. "Ma, please," he says. "We've been over this 1,000 times." "Yes," he says. "I am. I am." His face screws up and he turns away, his voice dropping to a near whisper. "A suit of armor, Ma? Jesus, what year is it? Where would you even get something like that?" Then, "It's limited for everyone. Everybody's on their way out. What did Dad used to say? As soon as a story starts, it's already ending?" A long pause. He shakes his head. "I'm sorry." "You're right. I'm sorry." "I know," he says. "Okay, but I'm not wearing the armor." "Okay," he says. "Okay." He keeps the phone to his ear, waiting for her to hang up before he turns around. I look up from whatever book I haven't been reading and smile brightly, try to be easy, pretend I heard nothing, that me and his mom were nothing alike. I'm no geologist, but I've always had a head for formulas. There's a logic to them. Follow the rules and you know things will come out all right. And sometimes I think I could sit down and just do the math, figure out based on the progression to date, give or take, how much time we have left. If I had more courage and a good calculator. If I wasn't so afraid. If I didn't find myself on windy days positioning my body in front of his at the bus stop, a head shorter than him and in more ways than that an ineffective shield. If he didn't tickle the spot on my ankle that only he knows about. If I didn't have to remind myself not to tickle him back. If he didn't joke, not joke, that he's made of weaker stuff. The most common causes of erosion are water, wind, glaciers, people. Benj is social for someone who'd be better off if he wasn't. We go to what feels like the same party every weekend. Same people, same half-empty bowl of party mix on a fold-out table, combed through for the good stuff. I chew the inside of my cheeks as he greets everyone individually. enthusiastic slaps on shoulders, special handshakes with intricate steps. The ones who hug him bear hug hard, and over time, this has left shallow depressions hidden by t-shirts in the middle of his chest, the tops of his arms. The ones who kiss him do it the French way, one cheek, then the other, and they're supposed to be air kisses, but now his face tapers above the jawline as if shaved away. I'm the only one who observes the dust falling off Benj onto the discolored carpet, sucked up by a vacuum in the morning, and no one the wiser. Of course, they don't see it. They aren't the ones who bring him home. Home. Our apartment. Our shoes all mixed up together in the caddy by the front door, both our last names on the small laminated label on the mailbox downstairs. When we moved in, Benj insisted on a plus sign between our names, not a slash. Said that we should be an and, not an or. Living with Benj is like living inside an hourglass, one of those 2-minute timers you used to get at the dentist. The fine dust of him collects all around us, proof that he is, cell by cell, sloughing away. A sick gray tinged with pink, ground down skin, muscle, bone. Though he has learned to shower more carefully, with most of his body out of the stream, though he has trained himself not to roll around in his sleep, he still leaves it behind when he walks his most traveled paths from bed to fridge to computer chair and back again. I wonder which room he'll be in when the world, after shaping him for so long, decides he has had enough. He thinks it's morbid that I won't get rid of it, that I sweep the dust into loose mounds in the corners of rooms. But what else am I supposed to do with something that's part of him? You don't throw out your loved one's ashes, I argue. Sometimes you do, he says. Actually, lots of times you do. Well, I don't. You would if the will said to. I roll my eyes. This is the thing I worry about most lately, wasting dwindling time on conversations we've already had. I tell him, doesn't matter if I would or not. You'd be gone, and who would check up on it anyway? He looks down. His eyelashes are crusted with dust and the beginnings of crying. I'm not dead yet, you know. My mind jumps to flat prairies transformed into basins, hiking passes carved into mountains by ice. When Benj isn't around, I go to the piles and make a bowl with my hands and scoop up the dust. I pretend I'm a gymnast reaching into a tub of chalk at a big meet. Pretend my team is counting on me, and the dust, it helps me with my grip. Benj erodes fastest in the places touched most often, so I try not to touch the parts of him I'd like to stick around. The way the tip of his nose turns up at the very last second, as if it's been waiting to surprise you. The spot on his right earlobe where I swore I saw a freckle once. Only Benj is no good at keeping freckles. As soon as he gets the right amount of sun, a rush of wind polishes them down. Loving Benj is an exercise in restraint. He hates that I kiss him so gently, says, what good will holding back do in the long run? I say it's all about the long run. He says he doesn't like this side of me, this just like everyone else-ness, this being more concerned with longevity than depth. When he says depth, he presses his thumb against the gates of my teeth, daring me to open, let him in, and I'm a goner. I forget myself, grab hold of him desperately. There's the all too real sensation of him slipping through my fingers. The next morning, I slide my arms out of the fresh rills that cross his stomach. Notice the crumbling around the teeth marks on his neck. But Benj hasn't had fingerprints as long as I've known him. I can't pretend the pads were worn down by me. He tells me that we are more solid than ever, and not to conflate things. We are not what is deteriorating. He tells me that he is grateful, that whatever time we have, for him, it is enough. But I am greedy, greedy, greedy. I want to put him in a glass box like they do in cemeteries with the stone busts of children when the families do not want the likenesses to ever decay. At these times, when I am at my most selfish and delusional, I know I am the weak one between us. Which is why, when the worst comes, I'm the one to crack. Benj goes grocery shopping and tries to carry all the bags from the car in one go. The plastic handles sink inches into his forearms, cut through him like wire, almost clear through to the other side. Afterwards, we stop going to the parties that are all the same. By now, his legs are so eroded and his back so concave, he finds it difficult to walk. Then we develop bad coughs as the piles of dust in the apartment grow steadily taller. We ignore the coughing for a while, blame it on something going around the building until eventually Benj orders a reusable particle mask for me. Just the one, I notice, not a pair. Then Benj declares he's going to the Archways. The Archways is a national preserve a couple of states over in which Benj has previously expressed no interest. For one thing, it's a full day's drive. For another, it's known for its sandstorms. Now, Benj leaves the tourism website up on his computer all the time. The photographs show striated rock the color of sweet dried oranges. Hard-packed earth is punctuated by otherworldly formations, a natural bridge between two cliffs, spindly pedestals rising hundreds of feet like a giant's game of Jenga, and the namesake arches, chiseled away over millennia and toothpick delicate, forming open-mouthed O's in the landscape, frames for whatever lies beyond. Do you know how many people die every day just commuting to work? He asks me. This again. The particle mask hides my expression. No, do you? All I'm saying is that the same people who refuse to get on airplanes, they're the ones who'll step out into the crosswalk one day at the wrong time and just, I get it. Do you? He says. I recite so he doesn't have to. We're all dying, 100% of us, 100% of the time. We're dying from the day we're born. He nods, tells me, listen, I need to have a say. With my dad, we assumed he had more time. He was still doing work on the house, picking up shifts at the yard. Freak dust devil got him. Little unremarkable one, too. I feel like I'm suffocating. Not sure if the mask's too tight or it's something else. He grabs my hands firmly, and instinctively I shoot him a look of warning. I want you to come with me, he says. He told me it doesn't hurt. He was wrong. I try to be tough, strong, metamorphic, the granite of a headstone, the diamond of a promise ring. As I drive, I stare at a fixed point on the horizon, certain that if I turn my gaze toward him, it will bore a hole right through. A frame for everything that lies beyond him, which, as far as I can tell, is nothing at all. The car is stuffy and too quiet as I try to figure what would do less harm, roll the windows down and let the air blow against him, or leave them up and risk the sweat dissolving wavy lines into his skin. Doesn't matter. Neither of us expects him to be in that passenger seat on the way back. Even in the stillness, the dust of him swirls lightly, landing on my hair, his jeans, the lids of our sodas, empty chip bags in the footwell, the red buckle of his latched seatbelt. I ask why he bothered with the seatbelt. He takes his chance. Hey, you think I have a death wish? And though it's not funny, it feels better on the other side of silence. When we pull in, the view from the visitor's lot is depressing. Back home, we have coverage, densely packed trees, important for minimizing erosion. Here, the vegetation is sparse, and the way it doesn't touch fills me with regret. Low shrubs spaced so far apart, you get the feeling they want nothing to do with each other. The rock formations, though, are beautiful in person, in the way of things that were not made all at once with a singular vision, but by many invisible hands, unhurriedly over time. Already, the wind is howling. Then these things in quick succession. I put the car in park. The wind shakes it violently. Panic strikes me, knocks something loose. Stay, I blurt out. I hate the beg in my voice. Say it anyway. Please, stay. Through eyes blurring with tears, I think I can see his body responding. He's filling out at the edges, widening where he was narrow, coming back to sense, to me. When I blink, my vision clears, and the brief burst of hope is gone. In its place is Benj, looking sad but resolute. He pulls his shoes and socks off slowly, left, then right foot, then tugs his t-shirt over his head. He's not being careful now. As he pushes his jeans down, the denim drags, and I watch the dust fall. He folds his clothes methodically on the center console. When he's done, he turns and finally looks me in the eye. Benj leans over and kisses me so hard I have to reach up and check my lips. I'm so sure it's a piece of me that's broken away. He takes a series of fast breaths, in, out, in, out, in, then he throws the door open and he goes. Immediately, the wind begins the vicious work of whittling him down. One gust, 3 fingers off his left hand, the next, a chunk of his thigh. Fragments of him strike the windshield like hail while I sit, frozen. A crack forms down the middle of the glass, the space between his seat and mine. Has he always been this decisive, this stupid, this brave? People change, of course, imperceptibly, then plain as day. I can't watch, but I can't not watch either. I'm here to be here. So I force myself out of the car and race to Benj as far as he has managed to get, running on thin limbs and his own conviction. How quickly he dissolves as we walk together, sideways in the wind to one of the larger arches. He points forward, onward, with the index finger of his good hand. The sandstorm comes from everywhere, stinging, and I don't try to shelter him from its blows. When we reach the base of the arch, a thought burrows into me, painful and invasive. It makes me think of some wedding backdrops I've seen. Clean-smelling, flower-wrapped pagodas, a place for ceremony. At first, Benj's gray-pink dust stands out, pale against the surrounding red rock. Once the wind hits blood, though, I can't tell the difference. It doesn't hurt? I ask Yell over the storm. Close up, I can't see the whole of him. Only brown eyes, a little less domed than mine, looking back at me without fear. He calls back, "Not the way you think." When the next gust shears off his smile, I think, finally, I know what he means. How does it hurt? It hurts like wishing hard won't help you, like being good won't help you, like there is no formula. You could have behaved completely differently, and still. We are insignificant and seen mostly at the surface. If we're lucky, seen deeper by some. The dust of Benj hits me sharp and sudden, mixed with sand, and quickly I am bleeding. I squeeze my eyes shut against it. I shout into the unfairness, though I knew it was coming, and I swear I can hear Ben shouting back, though the air is thick enough to blind, and I'm sure he is mostly bodiless now. In my useless mouth, I try to catch him, hold him there, and earn from my beloved. Try not to let him dissolve on my tongue. Something like safekeeping. When I open my eyes again, unsure of how much time has passed, the air is unnervingly still. Would it really have been easier not to have known? I am red raw and pin-pricked. Dust sticks in ornate patterns atop the wetness of my tears, or sweat, or blood, like glitter to glue on art projects when I was a kid, and it's true. I feel decorated. I remember glitter being impossible to get rid of. I walk back to the car, thinking that later I'll have to pick out the particles with tweezers one by one. Or maybe not. Maybe let it get infected. Maybe stay evidence of how great an impact one person can have. How much of them you can then carry with you, embedded, a burial under the skin. Thank you.
Damn, that was that was really powerful. Thank you so much, Kristina Ten, everybody.
A lot of what she writes is like that too.
Man, I feel like I've been in a parallel universe for the last half hour. Um, so it's our custom here at Story Hour to just pause between authors, take a breath, let the previous work sort of resonate, and then pick it up again. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take a couple of breaths. Y'all can do whatever you want. I'm going to chill for about 10 seconds and then I'll be back. Kristina Ten, everybody. Holy shit. Thank you. And our next author, David Marino, is a writer of fantasy and science fiction. David's fiction has been published in Lightspeed, Escape Pod, Small Wonders, Pseudopod, among others. David is a graduate of the Clarion Writers Workshop, holds a master's degree in writing from Sarah Lawrence, and is a member of SIFLA. David lives in New York and is perpetually on the hunt for the perfect buffalo wing. Man, I'm telling you, that's rough. It's a noble quest. Um, so the floor is yours, David. Welcome. Take it away.
Thanks, Dan. Thank you, Christina, for that incredible story. I think there are some actually similarities with mine. By the way, the buffalo wing thing is not a joke. Hit me up if you know a place. And
I just make my own, man.
oh, I gotta get better at that. So
Why are we not over having buffalo wings right now with you, Daniel?
That's a great question. I'll talk to my wife about it. We'll have
uh,
a party.
content warning for this story. There's quite a bit of profanity. So if there are any similar to Christina's story, if there are any children around who do not want to learn a very versatile four-letter word, perhaps shoo them away. Yeah, let's get into it. This is the Ballad of Starburst Smith by me. Did you read the terms and conditions? Fuck you, I read the terms and conditions. Does this bearded receptionist not know she's Starburst Smith? Does he not know she's the rock prophet who will herald in a new wave of music that'll soon sweep her to fame and fortune? That'll soon have her selling out Dodger Stadium and Madison Square Garden? Even if soon has been soon for 15 years? No, the receptionist says. You skimmed the terms and conditions. You need to read the terms and conditions. There's a difference, and we've gotten sued by too many people who don't understand that your signature on that line means you read it. Starburst sighs, runs her hair through her mohawk. Silver glitter sticks to the calluses on her fingertips. Droning muzak chimes softly through the reception room. I know the cost of using the machine you've got here. Everybody does. The receptionist taps the form twice. Then you understand why you need to read the terms and conditions. Look, take a seat, read section 3.7. That's the most important one. Starburst snatches the form, gives the receptionist and his man bun the stink eye before she plops down in one of the red, hard plastic chairs in the antiseptic waiting room. The walls are plastered with the same minimalist posters that got her in here. Prune your present, says one, showing a pair of shears snipping a bonsai tree. Let your future be free, says another, this one with a golden retriever running through a grassy field. There's also a fern. Places like this always have a fucking fern. There's a woman's health magazine on the table next to her with a headline about how to thrive after 40, which is how old Starburst is, which she has to keep reminding herself. She doesn't feel 40. She doesn't feel like she's been rocking for 25 years, ever since he found that acoustic in her grandma's garage, since that glorious moment when she'd heard Metallica play Ecstasy of Gold and her future locked into place. Rock. That was going to be Starburst's thing. She was going to be like Bowie with tits, Prince, but hotter, Herman Lee, but also with tits. Now she keeps using was, and here she is at the fucking winnower, where the future goes to die. There's two other people here. A late 20s woman in a sexy gray pantsuit, and a finance bro making sure to show off his docksiders. Catherine Hart to the winnowing chamber. Catherine Hart to the winnowing chamber, says the ceiling intercom. Pantsuit gets up and walks down the white hallway, past the reception desk, while an elderly man shuffles out past her, then leaves through the front door. What happens after today, if Starburst goes through with this? She's thought about it a lot, been circling around this decision for a solid year now, and boom, happy birthday. Why not welcome him being old with choking her dream in the crib? Well, not the crib. More like the 75th trimester abortion of her dream, honestly. Christ, she hates looking at her hands. Not the calluses, those are hard won, but the wrinkles. It takes so much makeup to get into full Starburst mode nowadays. She was supposed to have, like, people to do that for her 5 years ago. But she did it. Blue eyelinered up, mohawk spikes dyed orange, black face paint irritating her skin. Her leather duster squeaks between her ass and the chair. Starburst pushes a lock of hair behind her ears, earrings jangling as she does. Waiver time, woo. Trinity Court proudly welcomes you to blah, 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 the winnower. Jesus, the foreman is all excited about it. She skips to section 3.7. Participant acknowledges that whatever they see in the window will prevent what they see from coming to pass. Participant will see a possible future based on their desires, but seeing this future will, a bunch of jargon Starburst doesn't understand, something about the observer effect, remove that future and all futures of minute differences from coming to pass. 7 albums, not a one went gold. YouTube tutorials with views in the triple digits, streaming royalties that don't break $1 a month. Starburst keeps trying to break in, keeps playing shows at dives and at festivals no one has heard of, keeps printing CDs and nothing. She should be touring Oslo and Seoul. She shouldn't be in this antiseptic slab of a building downtown, trading her future for, well. She flips to the last page. There's a signature and date line, so she writes in the date, then hovers her blue pen over that signature line. She taps her pen down in the corner, flips it between her fingers like Sam taught her after they would take bomb hits on his fire escape back when they were dating. Sam, see, he made it, sorta. He's a session musician, plays for Hollywood and TV scores. Sam doesn't have to keep limping back to his father for money every month. Doesn't have the specter of stocking Fritos at a Circle K before dawn, dogging his every step. But Starburst is just so tired. Tired of having to explain what a theremin is, of how much her hands ache. Starburst is tired of how many people have joined her band only for them to move on past her. She's tired of seeing people with so much talent give up music to get pregnant or start selling personalized Furbies or both. Like her 7th album, Dark Side of the Dark, is good. She knows it's good. Starburst is playing both electric guitar and theremin on every track. Now Starburst is jamming with kids who weren't even born when she first picked up a guitar. Plus the sex has dried up. What are you in for? She asks Boat Shoes in the chair next to her. He's got his Ivy League polo and his crew team shoulders. Typical. Here to see the successful version of me, he says. Starburst smirks. Me too. What's that look like? Being in charge of my own VC firm, he says. Angel investors in new apps and products. I love scalability. Finding synergies. Starburst says, is that like a chord or like a guitar and bass playing at the same time? Boat Shoes snaps his fingers. Exactly. See, we both have drive, but none of the big finance companies do. They say they want someone who understands an income statement. And when I say, but you got people for that, they say, we'll get back to you. And they don't. So I'm going to go into the winnower, see my bliss, then dip back to normie life. What about you? You play guitar? Yeah, Starburst says. Electric. Way, Boat Shoe says. I'm going to start jamming again with my bros after today. Just getting back into the vibes, you know? Starburst's fingers twitched. She did know. Even if it had been 5 years since she felt legitimately excited to just play. You should see my next. Starburst trails off. That was her small talk with strangers, talking about whatever next show she was going to perform at. But she played her last gig yesterday to an audience of 15 in the back of a dive bar, where everyone was mostly there to watch Game 3 of the NBA Finals. I play the theremin too, Starburst says to fill the void, as if letting this stranger know about her weirder, more obscure musical ability is the most important thing for him to know. Maybe it is. Maybe this is the last conversation Starburst will have as she is now. What's a theremin? He asks. Never mind, she mumbles. On the signature line, she signs Allison Smith in flat, thick ink. Brad Cunningham to the winnowing chamber. Brad Cunningham to the winnowing chamber, says the bland intercom. Wish me luck, Boat Shoe says as he walks past the receptionist down the white hallway. A teen girl walks past Brad on the way out. She's sobbing, her mother rubbing her back. The girl is probably 15, holding a teddy bear, a pair of ice skates draped around her neck. Starburst passes them on her way up to the reception desk, her boots clacking on the white tile. What was her deal? She asked Man Bun. Patient confidentiality, Man Bun says. You gonna go in? Starburst likes to be loud. When you are loud, people hear you and you hear yourself. Being loud is like sticking her flag in the moon and claiming it for her empire. So she is surprised when the voice that asks, is it as good as everyone says? Is a quiet one, a broken one, like cassette tape worn out. Look, Man Bun says, I've done it myself. It's pretty good. You might regret it, but it is pretty good. Almost like the real thing. Starburst hands over the waiver without another word. She sits back down, waiting for her go at the noose. Maybe working Circle K management won't be so bad. Maybe she'll be in her office, and instead of boring malls off, she'll play some live theremin shows over the speakers, just to mix it up between reorders of Twix bars from the distributor. Allison Smith to the winnowing chamber. Allison Smith to the winnowing chamber. Here goes. Starburst walks past the reception desk and down the hallway. She turns left when she reaches the back wall. The only furniture is a tiny wooden table. The only decoration, another goddamn fern. The hallway she's looking down seems exactly the same, down to the same fern at the back. If she didn't know any better, she'd think she's trapped in one of those horror video games that repeats the same hallway until you turn around and boom! It's a monster wearing a paper bag in its head that somehow represents the character's guilt for abandoning her daughter at some Rye Playland ripoff. 3 turns later, Starburst does reach a pair of hospital doors. She rolls her shoulders back before pushing through them. A man whose energy screams, dentist but likes the drills too much, waves her over to a plush chair. For some reason, Starburst thought she'd be strapped down, lightning crackling in the air like Frankenstein's lab. Here, Starburst asks, as if there's any other place in the drab room to go. Please, the dentist guy says. He's not introducing himself. He's holding a metal bowl with a bunch of suction cups and wires and electrodes, very 80s movies prop, all attached to a massive black cord from the ceiling. I'm going to put this on your head. He'll describe aloud the potential future you want to see, and blammo! He gestures to the large black wall that Starburst now realizes is a TV. You'll see your future. Starburst does sit, leans back in the soft recliner. It's comfy like those high-priced movie theater seats. Makes sense. She is here for the show. And whatever I see, Starburst feels the need to ask. There's no way to actually make it happen. The dentist shakes his head. You're going to see a possible future. It could have happened to you if you hadn't come here, if you don't see what you're about to see. Maybe. But seeing it prevents you from ever getting it or anything like it. You could try to chase whatever you see, the technician sighs. Our tests at Trinary say it doesn't work. Something changes. Either you or the world. Starburst's arms dangle. Here at the threshold, she wonders, how many more shows does she have in her? How many more songs can she write? How many more bands can she start that go nowhere? She has 1 more of each in her, certainly. But 2? 5? It hurts. It hurts, and she just wants to play Madison Square Garden 1 time. Is that too much to ask? She grabs the damn helmet and yanks it down on her head, cold metal against the bare skin. Show me the biggest, best show I ever could play. Dentist guy types on his keyboard, then leaves at the door to the left. The television screen flicks on, as big as the whole wall of the studio apartment Starburst can only afford because of her dad's goodwill. There's a stage, a big one. It's got a microphone stand already set up, but otherwise looks rather plain. The crowd is large, at least, murmuring at the edges. But come on, is this the best potential Starburst could possibly do? That's when a fucking starship descends from the ceiling, pyrotechnic thrusters and streamers firing from fake rockets. They've charted courses through the frozen comets, someone says in a deep baritone. They've battled with Malice Squadron in the Inferno Nebula. They are the only hope for galactic freedom against the tyrannical Legion. Now they come to New York City to spread their message of freedom. Touching down at Madison Square Garden, for the first time, I give you the Universal Revolution. A drum beat starts echoing through the arena. The crowd claps along. On drums, an exiled prince from his crystalline home, Sam Fletcher. A drum solo goes wild as Sam descends from the spaceship's right wing, already playing his neon ring drum set. On bass, two robots from the planet Zictera who have found the forbidden secret of their world, LO and VE. A pair of robot bassists are both jamming in the left wing, some wild-ass melody Starburst can barely follow, zipping up and down like a Billy Preston song. The woman robot is clad in gold body paint with circuit boards covering her nipples, while the man is clad in silver, a massive dick bulge visible through his silver leather pants. On vocals, the voice of the void, the manifestation of all that is good in the galaxy, Astradia. A ramp from the center of the ship opens, and the most beautiful woman Starburst has ever seen strides out, her stiletto heels clacking with each step, whirls of purple fabric and black light paint adorning a woman who grabs the microphone stand and belts out a sonic scream. And our brave captain, Legion Synthroid turned swashbuckling hero, our last best hope for galactic freedom against the tyranny of the Legion's conformity, Starburst Smith. Some kind of hawk screams, and Starburst's jaw drops because she sees herself as the coolest she'll ever be. Her hero form marches out, wearing a costume best described as part Nazgul, part Terminator, part Deja Thoris. And her guitar is slung over her shoulder, a fucking sword blade coming off the end. Hero Starburst full on makes out with Estradia in front of a screaming crowd in a way that does not seem like an act. And Estradia goes into his speech about the crowd sending energy to the Great Seed to birth a new space mother to battle the Legion's dark armies. There's a lot of proper nouns and it's a bit hard to follow, but none of that matters because Hero Starburst fucking shreds. There are echoes of Dark Side of the Dark in there, but it's so much faster, so much more layered than anything Starburst has ever done on her own. After the opening song, a whole story unfolds. Each band member gets an origin song featuring them. Listening to Sam's soulful drum solo being cast out of his home, Starburst realizes two things. First, that Sam was right when he said that Starburst was selfish and egomaniacal and made it too much about herself and not enough about everyone else. And second, by doing this, she's now exiled herself. Rock and roll is her home. And she's imploded that home just like the Seattle Superdome. Intercut between LO and V's origins about teaching the Zicterans to fuck, and Estradia's spontaneous birth from a black hole, General Zom of the Last Legion and his synthroid soldiers start appearing in the crowd. They get a song about hunting down the Universal Revolution from their asteroid base. Then Starburst gets her origin song, a quiet dirge about her former self, All Sun, conquering the peaceful planet of the Forked Nebula, all while licks of a guitar start to flare up. The only resistance to Ali's son and her robot legion is Krillnox, the fourth Nebula's chosen hero. Estradia sings about how Krillnox fought on, despite the impossible odds he faced, only to, at last, meet Ali's son when he could barely stand, bleeding out from his wounds. And it was only after Ali's son killed Krillnox to spare him the pain, so moved by his determination, that she rips off her inhibitor chip and takes off Krillnox's sword, becoming Starburst, revolutionary hero. Starburst can barely believe it. It's the best thing she's ever seen, and it's going so fast it's already time for the climax. The Universal Revolution needs to blow up the Vermilion Crystal before General Zom finishes his dark spell. There's onstage guitar combat, which the audience, including Starburst, absolutely loves. But when the Universal Revolution is about to blow up their crystal with the Obliterator missile, General Zom completes the spell, and all of the lights in the arena go completely dark. The last lights of galactic freedom have been snuffed out. That's when the fucking theremin starts wiggling in. Father, says Hero Starburst in the darkness, her voice ice. You aren't the only one who can command sorcery. Then there's a theremin duel, black lights shining throughout the stage, exactly like Starburst knew a crowd would love if she just had the budget and time and venue and the crowd. With Estradia's help, Starburst restores light to the arena, and by extension, the universe, only to fall, exhausted, into a crystalline coma, dry ice spilling off the glass coffin that Starburst falls backward into. Estradia and Sam list Starburst back up the gangplank of the Universal Revolution starship, flanked by LO and VE, before it lifts off. Another battle won. Another sacrifice made, the announcer says. Can the Universal Revolution save their heroic captain from her eternal slumber? Will they be able to evade the last Legion's clutches? Will the galaxy ever be truly free? Find out when the Universal Revolution returns to your star cluster. Soon. The video dies. The lights in the Winneming chamber come back on. Starburst shoves the helmet off of her, gets up in a daze, drunker and more sober than she's ever been. She did it. She fucking did it. She did all that, made the best show that's ever been seen. And there was a fucking story, ray guns and swords, and so much neon and glitter, and it was everything she could have imagined and so much more. The crowd loved it, hanging on every lyric, every note, dancing and cheering and gasping along. There's no way Starburst stays in that coma. No, like Estradia's kiss will save her, or maybe Estradia and Sam both kissing her at once, or maybe they fall in love trying to revive her, and then their new love resurrects her. That can't be Starburst's end. But no, it is. Takes her a solid minute to remember where she is. She blinks, still staring up at the empty TV screen, before she stumbles out of her chair. Starburst pushes the double doors open. She didn't make any of that, and now never will. The hallway lights are harsh, migraine-inducing, and instead of it being a galactic hero, she's no one more face in the crowd. Or worse, she's a future manager of a convenience store, a job she only got because her dad gave it to her, not because she earned it. Allison refills the shelves with bags of spicy sweet chili Doritos. It's 6 a.m., and she's here, settling into week 3, managing her Circle K. She's already negotiated 4 customer disputes this week, made sure to hold aside some of those new Mountain Dew flavors for the hot dad who says he's getting them for his kids when she can clearly see him trying Purple Thunder in his car. Jacob, her Monday morning cashier, comes in with a wave. Allison waves back. She's going to need to update her order to include more Fantas. She goes back to her office. There's her old Stratocaster on the wall. Next to the bulletin board, shift schedule, and employee rights poster the corporate sends like clockwork. She can't play guitar anymore. She's tried. Maybe there's something physically wrong with her hands that causes her so much pain, or it's something psychosomatic. Maybe seeing any 5-string is a reminder of the best rock show only she ever got to see. The coming out of their shells tour, but bigger, wilder, hornier. She can still play the theremin that sits on her desk. A small comfort. Her fingers dance through its electric fields when the store is devoid of customers. Mournful tunes bouncing between shelves of gum and potato chips. But on the computer, the same one she uses to manage inventory, she's been working on writing 2 things. First, an email to Sam, subject line, "I'm sorry." And second, in Microsoft Word, a file titled The Universal Revolution, Book 1. And even if the names have been changed from Ollie's son to Sin D, and Starburst has been changed to Flare, it's still the same story she saw winnowed away from her. And Allison writes a little every day to find out what happens next. Thanks.
Oh man, thank you so much, David. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed that. Man,
And yes, some thematic resonance,
For
definitely.
sure. I
yeah,
will say, if
yeah.
quickly, if you like this story and want to see a real life version of the fake show I made up, definitely go see the band Castle Rat, which I am wrapping their shirt.
Oh,
They
nice.
rule. They are a metal band with a bit of a fantasy narrative to them. They highly recommend. Yeah, if you like the specific type of nonsense I delivered, Starburst would deliver to you. Castle Rat will be right up your alley.
Cool. I love the winnowing chamber and the trade-off. Really wonderful idea. And
Thanks.
just your timing was really just perfect. I love the way you read.
Thanks.
What a great story hour, Laura.
Yeah.
David Marino, Kristina Ten, thank you both so much for joining us. And my wonderful co-host, Laura Blackwell. Thank you for being my wonderful co-host. And everybody out there, thank you for coming back or for coming the first time. Please join us next week when our guests will be Clay McLeod Chapman and David Anaxagoras.
Actually, David Anaxagoras is going to be in the beginning of October.
Oh, did I screw that up?
We just got confirmed the other guest for next week, and it's going to be Thomas Ha. So I'm very excited to have
All right.
those two. I think that's going to be a fun synergy too.
Cool. Well, come on back. And with that, we're going to say goodnight. We'll see you next time. Bye, folks.
Bye.
Hi, thank you so much.